welcome you to the farm. Another spectacular Sunday afternoon and a Pac-12 Big 12 matchup with two teams squaring off against each other and looking to get back into the win column. The number 2 ranked Stanford Cardinal hosting the Oklahoma Sooners. It's Pac-12 women's soccer here on Pac-12 Bay Area. And we welcome you inside Kagan Stadium. Troy Clarity alongside Krista Blanca. Pleasure to have you on board with us. Highly anticipated matchup on Friday, Krista, between the Stanford Cardinal and Penn State. A top 10 matchup that didn't quite go in Stanford's favor.
Yeah, it did not. As Penn State came, they were ready to go and just a little further along with their organization, especially with their defensive pressure that helped them so much. They were able to force the turnover on Andy Sullivan, which you don't see very often, and that forced the back line out of position. A little help from that right crossbar, and Kraus gets score number 1. That's the way the first half ended. And then Penn State regrouping. They keep it wide. There's Kraus again. She's going to get the assist. Beautiful cross. Facing her, steps right in front of Laura Lytle. And that's the way it finishes. 2-0. A tough one for Stanford, but a learning curve, no doubt, that they are continuing to work off of.
This is one of those games where it seems like the stats lie. Stanford outshooting Penn State 16-4, but the Nittany Lions doing a much better job of capitalizing on their opportunities. Meanwhile, the Oklahoma Sooners also lost 2-0 on Friday, that against Santa Clara, but this is still a team with some firepower, led by Emily Parker up front.
Emily Parker, just a freshman, but she is making her name known for this Sooners team as she leads the team in scoring. She has 3 goals on the season, 13 shots. She leads everybody in that category as well, and quite the athlete. And thanks in part to her dad, a former Arizona football player and NFLer. And there's Glenn. He's part of our Pac-12 broadcast team. Just one more reason to keep your eyes on Emily Parker.
It's the kind of matchup that splits families apart, although I'm pretty sure Glenn is still backing the Pack in some way, shape, or form. Should be a good one today here on the farm. Number 2 Stanford versus Oklahoma. The lineups and the kickoff are straight ahead. Don't go anywhere. This is Pac-12 Bay Area.
This Pac-12 women's soccer game is brought to you by Pure Silk. Pure Silk Moisturizing Cream for legs that look and feel like pure silk.
A ride down Palm Drive on the campus of Stanford University. Hook a left on Campus Drive and another left down Galvez. And you end up here, Kagan Stadium. And you'll watch the number 2 ranked Stanford Cardinal square off against the Oklahoma Sooners this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Sooners lineup. Karen Nelson, the name to watch up front.
Absolutely. Number 2 for the Sooners. And this is a player that was out last year because of the ACL injury, but this season has bounced right back. She had a hat trick earlier in their win against UT San Antonio. She will see a lot of action.
Meanwhile, for Stanford, Andy Sullivan, the young sophomore, a linchpin already for the squad.
She definitely is one of the 3 captains for the Stanford Cardinals. She was the National Freshman of the Year, and for good reason. Already leading the team, a couple of goals on the season. Still making some decisions, Coach Ratcliffe told us. Her decision-making still a factor, but she started off pretty well.
You see the head coach there, Stanford, Paul Ratcliffe. Matt Potter, the head coach for the Oklahoma Sooners. The last time these two teams met, back in September of 2002. That's up until now. Away we go. Cardinal and Sooners. Enjoy the game. Played down out of bounds along the far side. Laura Lytle will come in with the throw-in. Stanford at 4-1 on the season. Their first loss of the year coming against Penn State on Friday night right here at Kagan Stadium. You saw that right here on the Pac-12 Network and Pac-12 Bay Area. Oklahoma with a 2-game Bay Area road trip themselves as they dropped a 2-0 decision at Santa Clara on Friday.
Santa Clara, a team that Stanford's going to face in a couple of matches. They will host UC Davis first and then go to Santa Clara. And Santa Clara out of the West Coast Conference, always tough competition. And really a surprise to me that Stanford's only faced Oklahoma one other time because the Big 12, Pac-12, Big 12, a very strong soccer conference. So very good competition to start things off in the non-conference play.
And Oklahoma showing well in the Big 12 last year, losing to West Virginia in the Big 12 championship final. They did go to the NCAA tournament, lost to Arkansas in the first round.
And how about doing that with 10 freshmen and 12 sophomores? They were a very young team. They were not expected to do that well, but really put it together. Only 2 seniors on this Sooners team here, so you could say they're a young team still.
Karen Nelson, a junior, with a shot on goal, and Campbell was there to make the catch. Nelson taking it away earlier in that possession and then trying to finish it off with a shot on goal.
Had the third hat trick all time for Oklahoma in an 8-1 win against UT San Antonio. That was a big match for them before they hit the road.
Mariah Lee scooting down towards the goal line. Can't fight off the defense from Rachel Ressler, and a corner kick coming.
Heady play by Mariah Lee to know where that defender was and to make sure that she knocked it off of her as she was going out of bounds to get this corner set up.
And set up by a fine pass from Andy Sullivan. Haley Rosen will take the corner. Sending it, twisting towards the penalty spot, headed out.
Nice idea. Stephanie Amack got the look on this one, and then we were just talking about the Big 12, Pac-12 matchups. Apparently they've decided, hey, not a bad idea to pair things up this season.
And so far it's gone quite well for the Pac-12. Although today, in early results, Arizona State dropping one to Texas Tech 1-0. That game just went final just a few moments ago. Arizona State handling Pepperdine on Friday 5-0.
Yeah, 2 top 25 ranked teams, 3 teams in the Pac-12 in the top 25 this week, 5 receiving votes. Look at this forward pressure by the Sooners early on, and they're not a team that gets pigeonholed into a set formation. It's something Coach Matt Potter told us. They're not going to specifically say you're in a 4-3-3 or whatever you might want to line up in. He says everybody has a job, they have a role, and you just go out and play and see what the game gives you.
Hard tackle on Zhao. Anna Crawford there, and the whistle goes against Oklahoma. Zhao, very active in Stanford's loss against Penn State on Friday, but then again, she's been very active so far throughout the course of her brief Cardinal career.
Contact from behind. That was Anna Crawford who's marking her completely.
Sent into the 18, trying to control Rosen. Can't quite get a handle on it. And here comes a second corner kick for the Cardinal.
It's a good sign, and for the Cardinal, I'm not surprised that they've come out and they're trying to work quickly. It's something that they always try to do. Ball movement, they want quick ball movement. Moving without the ball, so important, but it's always a work in progress.
Corner heading towards the back post. The volley back into the 18, but cleared out by OU. Controlled by Sullivan. To the outside, trying to spin is Amack. Looking for a way out, finally finds it. Feeds it to Lee, but it's knocked away. And remains Stanford ball. Gorgeous Sunday afternoon here on the farm. Slightly humid. Not as humid as it was here yesterday afternoon, but still slightly sticky. 72 degrees at the kick.
There's Lee again trying to set up another corner. She is so strong. A lot of power from Mariah Lee.
Zhao finding Rosen. Rosen cranks it and scores! Rosen from just beyond the 18. She connects. Card lead 1-0.
That's patience by the Stanford Cardinal. They're in their attacking third. They've had a couple of corner opportunities. They haven't been able to score out of them. So they work it through the middle this time. And Haley Rosen, you can see she just got enough spacing between herself and her defender. Works it out with the left. And really threw off the keeper, Cassidy Stady. As Stady started to go to her left, it didn't bend quite enough. And she slipped it right past her.
Rosen, the fifth-year senior. The first goal of her season. Gives Stanford a 1-0 advantage in the 6th minute of this contest.
And Troy, that's a great sign for the Cardinal. You bounce back. It's all about resilience and trying to see how your team will respond, their character. That's something Paul Ratcliffe talks about so often. And coming off of a tough loss on their home pitch, obviously they weren't going to be happy about that, but not hanging their heads, coming out right now and knowing that it's not all about one match. It's about this entire season and building up until you get to Pac-12 play. It
is definitely a marathon and not a sprint, even though it definitely would have been nice to have come away with that win against Friday's match. Here come the Card again. The cross goes off the top of the crossbar and is Out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick coming for OU.
What I like so far, and that was Laura Lytle on the right flank. But what's standing out to me in this match so far compared to their match on Friday against Penn State is that they seem to be a little set on one side of the field or the other instead of mixing it up. And so far we've seen Paul Ratcliffe's team really work it. They've worked it through the middle. They've been up the left side. They've gone up the right flank. I like the fact that they're moving the ball around so well.
Played out towards the corner, but no one there in a white and silver striped jersey. Ending up with it again is Jordan DiBiase. And a whistle there.
Quality finishing has really been a struggle early on for this young team. You know, we talked to Coach Paul Ratcliffe, and he told us this really should be a rebuilding year. They lost 7 key seniors, but they have the #1 recruit class in the nation, and again, back-to-back top recruit classes. And he said these freshmen have come right in, and they're playing very well.
Meanwhile, a chance for OU as goes over.
Oklahoma's not going to come in here and just know that Stanford's ranked #2, just like Penn State came in, and not going to come up and pressure and force. And that was something that the Cardinal got taken out of a little bit, and that was some pressure being pulled up high.
Yeah, you mentioned this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. Some rebuilding year, huh? you're #2 in the polls entering week 4. That's going to change, obviously, with Friday's result. It might not change that much because they did lose to the 7th-ranked team in the country.
Yeah, may drop them just a bit. Depends on the other national play and how other teams fared.
Mariah Lee working towards the corner. Rachel Ressler defending. Hanging in there. Left-footed cross just to the top of the 18. Poked away. Stanford maintains. Lytle working. To Rosen. Back to the goal. Outside. Lee has it. Lee sprinting towards the goal line. Tries to center, but instead it's chopped up, broken up. 3rd corner kick coming now for Stanford. Taking a look at the top 10 coming into this week. Virginia beating Old Dominion. That game went final just a few minutes ago, 3-0. Who's also beating Harvard on Friday. Florida State beating Grand Canyon earlier today. They beat UCF on Thursday. Corner kick coming. The header can't connect. That was Stephanie Amek there who had a pretty good shot at it.
At 5'10", always a great target. She's been very active for these early corners and just couldn't get the angle on that one, up way too high. You know, BYU in the 5 spot in the top 10, and it's a team that Stanford just recently defeated. A big plus for the Cardinal to have such a tough non-conference schedule because Pac-12 play will be very competitive this year.
The bar is always very high for everyone in the Pac-12.
Yeah, you can't look past anyone, and that's a great thing. A record 9 teams making it into the NCAA tournament last year from the conference.
Crawford with the throw-in for OU. She gets it back. Taken away by Zhao. And now hustling over, it's Carusa. Carusa looking for options. And Lee not quite there. Can't make the run over into the corner.
Little miscommunication up front. It's probably where the Cardinal are their youngest, is that front line. Carusa, redshirt freshman, redshirted last year.
Cassidy Stady, OU's keeper, junior from Rancho Santa Margarita, California. Matt Potter, OU's head coach, saying that Stady's shot stopping and temperament have improved. She's a junior.
They also have a sophomore keeper, Caitlin Farner, who had 22 starts last year. She and Stady fighting it out for the starting role. And that's always a good thing when you have very good competition in that place. And Stanford Cardinal do as well. Sarah Cox, a senior keeper, is very good for Stanford. Allison Johansus as well, redshirt freshman keeper. And Paul Ratcliffe said that those two are really pushing Jane Campbell to be her best.
And Campbell's no slouch by herself.
She's pretty good.
She's in the team picture.
Yeah. One of the captains, she's definitely become much more of a vocal leader. It's not necessarily her personality and style, but as a junior now, she's starting to see that she really needs to kind of dictate how this team runs.
Rosen with it, finds Zhao outside. Zhao with a chance inside the 18. The right-footed crank is deflected and out of bounds. Fourth corner kick will come for Stanford, but Zhao with a nice chance there.
Stady, the keeper, tested here. That right corner of the net. Zhao going left, and it just keeps going, but the outreached hand of Cassidy Stady. Nice job by their keeper for the Sooners. At 5'10", gave every single inch of that reaching out.
Spinning towards the penalty spot, headed out by the Sooners. Zhao with it though, left-footed strike, just wide of the target.
Couldn't get that one to bend, just left of that post. They are so impressed though with what Michelle Zhao, freshman out of Omaha, has done so far. She's really the whole package, they said, just such a dynamic player, and already 2 goals on the season.
The 2015 Gatorade Nebraska Player of the Year, scored 2 goals against BC back on August the 28th. She's in on the defensive effort now. They sneak it past her. Amack with the pressure. They try to cross, and they do. Sooners trying to mount a challenge here. They've been outshot 5-1 so far and outscored 1-0.
They lose it again and get a break here as it goes out to stay in their attacking third. And Troy, we really haven't seen Oklahoma be able to establish their attack just yet. They haven't really been in their attacking third as much as the Cardinal.
Looking around for the throw-in. Ressler finally plays it in. Double team. Take it away. DiBiase with it. And now ahead. Cardinal on the attack once more. Field has been tilted in this direction throughout this game. Outstanding through ball. Zhou trying to control. Ends up along the baseline with a left-footed cross back post. And it's headed over the net. Fantastic opportunity for the Cardinal. Well set up.
Looked like there were a couple of times where it was going to break down, but they go ahead, and there's the back line for the Sooners trying to catch up to Zhao. She goes with that left, just bends it up high, and then it's Kira Carusa, who was so close to heading that one in. And another set piece. This is something the Sooners have been struggling with defensively this season so far. Still a work in progress.
Into the 18, headed up, headed again, and then snatched away by Stady.
There are a lot of exceptional targets for the Cardinal. They've been working on their corner sets and potentially keeping it low and some short pieces, but right now we've seen them loft it way up and try to use their length, use the air.
Slow roller out of Keister's reach. Instead, Campbell plays it back. A 50-50 ball beyond the stripe. OU controls. That's almost intercepted there by Sullivan. You see her tenacity in that situation. Amack giving chase. And OU playing it back. You mentioned the set pieces for the Sooners. Matt Potter, the OU head coach, mentioned Oklahoma went to South Carolina, dropped the double overtime loss to Furman in their opener, and then dropped another game against South Carolina, 11th ranked at the time, where the Gamecocks 2-1 the final in double overtime there. They lost that game on a set piece. And that's been a bit of an emphasis for him and his squad going forward.
It definitely has. Again, still a fairly young team, but fairly balanced. They have some depth. He's already played 22 different players. 11 different players have scored for this team. They have a very bright future. They were picked 5th in the preseason in Big 12 play. West Virginia is picked to win it. Going to be very competitive.
And Potter was happy about that number 5 pick because he said that's progress. Normally we're in the bottom half of things. Tried the outside pass towards Zhao. Instead, it's knocked away by OU. Zhao with it again, little chipper outside. Sullivan making the run down the sideline. And here she comes, weaving through traffic and misses on the right-footed strike. A look at the Big 12 standings to this point. West Virginia, as you might expect, on top. Oklahoma there very much in the mix. They won 3 straight games after dropping those first 2 matches in South Carolina, but have not gotten a win since getting on the plane in this direction.
Yeah, Texas Tech, number 10 in the nation. Texas is also a very tough competitor. And TCU won't be easy for Matt Potter and this team as they go through their conference play, which is just around the corner. They have one more home match, and they will also, or two more rather, they're also going to play Arizona State, and then they will kick things off with Texas Tech.
Long ball, Campbell comes in and makes the grab.
Jane had to make up her mind if she was going to come up or not, or trust that back line, and in traffic decides to go for it. Again, just decision making, being more aggressive, just a much more mature player this year.
And you know she's going to be cool, calm, and collected. Both of her parents were Navy fighter pilots. Her dad, a member of the Blue Angels. I bet they had some interesting conversations around the dinner table.
I bet they did.
How was your day? Hit about 3 Gs. Zhao is bumped off hard by Laura Rayfield.
Physical matchup. Laura Rayfield, one of the 2 seniors for the Sooners. Transfer from Oregon State just a season ago.
There are a few folks on this Sooners squad with Pac-12 ties. Matt Potter, most notably one of them, the head coach, was running the program in the Palouse, Washington State, for 9 years. Took them to the tournament 3 straight times. Heading towards the back post, headed out. In the 18, it's loose. Stady finds a beat on it and makes the catch.
That was a pretty service off of the free kick, but Cardinal not able to get anything out of it. But they have given themselves multiple opportunities, and one score, you know, they want to have some padding going into half. And you start to look at this many opportunities, and then you don't get the scores off of them. You can see that things like their loss against Penn State the other night, that's how it happens. We talked about the numbers and how they were so lopsided. It was all Stanford's way. Just didn't score off of them.
Cardinal with 16 shots on Friday night to Penn State's 4.
Yeah.
2 of Penn State's shots went in. None of Stanford's went in the net.
It's pretty good accuracy percentage if you're Penn State.
Around the 18, OU with it. Llewellyn plays it in just over the head of Keister. And out of bounds beyond the back line.
Nice settle by Lizzie Llewellyn to bring that one down. Look up ahead. Going up against Jane Campbell in the box for the Cardinal. The experience that she brings. They list her at 5'9". She just has a much bigger presence to me in there. But her versatility, quickness. She is one of 3 Pac-12 players up for the Herman Trophy Award on that watch list.
Cardinal with a chance here. Centered, knocked away. Rayfield doing the honors. Campbell, as you mentioned, on the Mac Herman watch list, also all Pac-12 second team last season. One of many decorated players on the Stanford roster. Here's Haley Rosen looking for an angle. Strikes. It's off of Stady and out of bounds. Rosen with the goal in the 6th minute, and she was looking for goal number 2.
I like the patience of Haley Rosen on this one to not rush this shot. She had just enough of an opening out to the left of her defender that gave her the look. And she didn't just hit the numbers of Stady. She definitely tested her, made her work for that one.
High kick towards the penalty spot, settled eventually by Zhao. Headed down, both teams trying to control, although Stanford being a bit more aggressive here. Amack sends it, and it's over the top. Nice idea by Amack pulling it down and giving the shot for Stanford. Pac-12 well represented, as you would expect, on the Mac Herman Trophy watch list. Andy Sullivan, Campbell's teammate, on that list as well.
Yeah, I am not surprised with that. I'm actually surprised there aren't a few more Pac-12 student athletes. And how about UCLA's Taylor Smith? Talk about a blast of energy and speed, and so fun to watch.
Outside, Karin Nelson coming down the sideline, but she is shut off by Alana Cook.
So the Sooners have been pressuring. They've been playing fairly far up and high on the pitch, but they just have not been able to control it once they've gotten into the third.
Amack throws it in, sets it up. Zhao shoved down from behind by Hemakota. Dakota from Gilbert, Arizona. A lot of players, or at least a handful of players on Oklahoma's roster that come from Pac-12 country. Arizona in particular.
Well, as you mentioned, Matt Potter, he spent 9 seasons as the head coach at Washington State, and he made a lot of connections with his Pac-12 coaching and recruiting in these areas, and he has kept those ties and connections.
Emily Parker, of course, one of those players from Tucson, Arizona. Angela Boyle from Anthem, Arizona. Meanwhile, Mariah Lee takes it away, plays it outside. Looking for the cross, and a handball should be coming. It is. Off of Paige Welch. And a penalty kick is coming up for the Cardinal.
Frustration by Welch because DiBiase got everything on this one, and the left arm goes up, and the ball comes right off of it. What a plus for the Stanford Cardinal.
Haley Rosen will take it. Facing off against Cassidy Stady. Off the post. Second chance. Can't get it off.
The play by Cassidy Stady. She has been tested in so many ways, and that left post, her friend on this one. And then the reaction as Rosen just could not settle that when it came back to her high, tried to bring it down and instead sends it right back to Stady's hands. So a missed opportunity by the Stanford Cardinal.
And a bullet dodged by the Sooners. Lytle working defensively far side for Stanford. Getting a little physical over there. Quick throw in for the Card. And 2 players go down in a heap. Both Lee and Wrestler, they're both okay. 1-0, Stanford over Oklahoma, 23rd minute. Troy Clarity, Krista Blunt, glad you're along for the ride with us. Sunny Sunday afternoon in Palo Alto. No breeze to speak of right now. High ball into the 18, Campbell controls. She shows such command on those 50-50 balls.
So much congestion right in front of her, and the outreach gloves. A big leg sent in, and a lot of contact coming right at her. Karen Nelson was there. Some upper body strength shown by Jane Campbell.
Lee versus Wrestler. Lee centers, out of bounds, and here comes another corner kick for Stanford. By my count, the 6th one for Stanford in this half.
And almost all of them set up by Mariah Lee. She is the corner setup specialist.
Lee is going to win her share of races, as not only in soccer, but she also won state titles in track and field.
She is fast.
In the state of Washington. Meanwhile, the corner kick headed out of the 18. Zhao trying to control and does. Drifts outside towards Maddie Bauer. She puts it back in play. Can't connect on the header there. Cardinal maintain. Rosen spins to DiBiase. Now they play it back. And the pass chipped away, spinning, twirling out of bounds. Stanford maintains.
It's very congested right now with Sooners jerseys in the box. If you're Stanford, they have to continue to keep working it both sides through the middle, creating spacing, because right there, just a little too much congestion.
Loose ball in the 18, but taken care of by the Sooners. Keister with the header, settling it down. Cross, but Kaylee Dow wasn't quite ready for it. The Sooners get it back after a miscue by Stanford. Dow plays it ahead. Karen Nelson. Back to Rayfield. Crawford with it now for OU. Sooners trying to set something up here.
Trying to and finally being able to string together several passes in their attacking third. And this is the style they'd like to play. And it's a team that's getting much closer to this style of possession play. But Coach Matt Potter said still a work in progress. But what they'd like to do is play very similarly to many of the Pac-12 schools, including Stanford, who's obviously such a big possession-style team.
Making this a nice measuring stick game for OU in several different categories, in several different ways. Alana Cook off the throw-in. Cook, one of the freshmen for the Stanford squad that has already made some noise. And a whistle in the middle. OU will come away with it.
Didn't see that one coming. Not a lot of contact, but they'll get Carusa.
Referee saw something that we might not necessarily have. And he's got a more close-up vantage point than we do. He has
a little bit better angle, I think.
Played in towards the 18 again, and Campbell snatches it away. Boy, we have seen some long kicks off the free kick, especially around the midfield stripe from Oklahoma.
Yeah, big legs by the Sooners and not afraid to take the shot. Something that they'll try to do, as you see, something that Campbell does so well, her balance and getting up and hanging on to it.
Ball goes out of bounds. Of course, the longest kick here on the farm over the weekend may have come last night just across the way at Stanford Stadium. Conrad Hucaprina with a 52-yard field goal. Stanford over UCF, 31-7.
Yeah, good win.
Substitutions for the Cardinal. Ryan Walker-Hartshorn and Tegan McGrady each coming in.
McGrady, the freshman out of San Jose, just down the highway, the lefty, and this is a player, she was a little dinged up after the first weekend, but she's feeling healthy and much better, and you're going to get her some minutes in this one.
Ball out of bounds, it'll go in Oklahoma's direction. McGrady with speed and skill, and Walker-Hartshorn showing things throughout the course of her Cardinal career as well.
Yeah, a starter at times, and still trying to figure out the best combinations to put her with out there and what her role really will be. Came in and scored a big one at Cal Poly, a game winner in the 84th minute this season.
Hard tackle on the far side involving Carusa.
So a couple in a row for Kira Carusa. She comes up, and Maddie Brem for the Sooners stepping in and making her presence known, and it goes against Carusa, unfortunately.
Another long kick headed downwards. Taken and controlled by the Cardinal. And then bumped out of bounds by the Sooners, heading in Stanford's direction.
It's Rayfield on that last set piece, the big leg of Laura Rayfield.
Yeah, Rayfield's been handling those with quite an impression there. We're at 1-0, and here's the reason why. Haley Rosen striking with the left foot, and it's in. Meanwhile, the Cardinal have a chance here. Walker-Hartshorn trying to fight her way through it. Now Rosen has it, left-footed strike off the top of the crossbar. Rosen seems to be feeling it a bit.
She's ready to go, and it's so great to see Haley Rosen back out on the pitch. The redshirt senior who's had a variety of injuries over her entire career, finally back out there last year and this year, as Paul Radcliffe told us, she's healthy, and it's so nice to have her out there. And why not? Fifth-year senior, ready to play, and she wants to get this team back in the win column.
She's had a goal. She's also had a couple other shots on goal as well. Hit the post on a penalty kick. Already very active for Rosen. Played ahead, Karen Nelson. Gets it back. Plays it towards Crawford. OU switching. But an errant pass, and now Stanford has it. Carusa waiting for the run from Amack. She gets it. Amack heading down the sideline towards the corner. Well defense there. Goal kick for OU.
I like the push by Paul Radcliffe's team, though. They're really looking to move the ball quickly. That's something that he said they are still working on, but it's a big key for this team.
Ratcliffe, the 1994 UCLA graduate. He has taken the Cardinal to the NCAA tournament every single year that he has been here on the farm.
He really has a calming presence type coach, and Matt Potter said he just is such a big fan of Paul's, and that, you know, Paul Ratcliffe does it right, and he's really set a standard for the women's game.
Yeah, respect seemed to be the key word for Potter when talking about Ratcliffe. And why not? With his kind of resume, 5-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year, 3-time National Coach of the Year.
I like the mindset that he always has, though, for every single team, and it's that you want to find consistency and you want your players to grow every single match. Just keep getting better. That's all he can ask of them.
And I'm sure that they were not anywhere near pushing the panic button after Friday's result against Penn State.
No, definitely not. And that is a very good thing to know, that there's a lot more play left.
Handball called on Stanford. Laura Rayfield will do the honors on the free kick. Rayfield, a senior transfer, originally from Auburn, Washington. As mentioned, she transferred after 2 years at Oregon State. Line driver, bounces off. And a goal kick coming. Maddie Bauer there to make the stop.
Nice job by Maddie Bauer to step in, cut off the angle of the pass, and get it back for the Cardinal.
Rosen coming off. She's been busy in this game. Megan Turner will come on in her place.
Excellent play by Haley Rosen. Really brought some energy, got the team going early on. You can't sit around and wait. Push that tempo, get things set up early, and the Cardinal done just that in big part because of Rosen.
Stanford has done very well in seizing things so far.
Yeah.
11 shots already for the Cardinal in this one. Zhao working defensively. Crawford getting it back off the give and go. Played towards the middle, but no red shirts are there. Turner, turning, finding DiBiase. Working it outside. Playing it for Walker Hartshorn. Hartshorn stops. Finds Turner. Can't get off the shot. And two players go down in a heap on the far side. That's Amac. She's back on her feet.
Amac gonna mess with that left cleat just for a moment. And good sign to see her continuing to try to jog that one off. It was a nice idea by the Cardinal, and they were able to find Megan Turner, and she just could not settle the pass as Walker Hartshorn was trying to get it to her, just a little too much on it.
Sooners won 3 straight matches after dropping their first 2. That streak started with the win over Oklahoma State, as both Zhao and Welch go down.
Zhao runs right into this play, and it's hard to see it right here, but it'll go against the Sooners, and a big one here. Good positioning for the Cardinal.
So another set piece that OU has to defend. Oklahoma's 2-0 win over Oklahoma State.
So the yellow card given to Paige Welch.
Yep.
Just wrong place, wrong time, as she and Zhao got tangled up. Zhao came flying in. Good aggressive move by her.
Turner tried to crank it, but instead it's blocked and taken away by Llewellyn. Broken up. Amac with Jordan Knox Webster trying to settle. Tough play at the midfield stripe. They play on. Coda sprinting down the sideline. Amac right there, step for step. And then chipping it away. Shiloh Price in the game for the Sooners. And it'll go in Stanford's direction. Speaking as someone who grew up in the Sooner State himself, it's always a big deal whenever Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Gotta love those in-state rivalries.
Great. Now I'm thinking about Bluebell ice cream.
We could use some of that right now.
Getting a little warm here on the farm.
Yeah, it is.
Meanwhile, the ball trickles clear across the midfield stripe. No one got there until Tegan McGrady was able to help control things. Zhao taken away by Crawford. DiBiase in the middle. A quick chipper. Back to DiBiase. Turner. Trying to hit in the corner. Carusa can't get there. Out of bounds, though. Still going the Cards' direction. Haley Rosen with a goal in the 6th minute. That's why we're at a 1-0 score here in the farm. Fans here seizing the opportunity to cheer. Ball cleared out by OU. DiBiase tries. It's blocked. Ball spinning high. Goes towards the far sideline. OU control. Check that. Stanford controls. Broken up instead. Coda. Coda trying to find a way out of there. Amac right there with her. That seems to have been the case whenever the ball's gone in that direction. Amac versus Coda, and Amac has won her share of the battles.
Amac very active. She's gotten the start in this match and seen every minute so far.
Welch playing it ahead, can't connect with Karen Nelson. Nelson turning back to Welch and being a little frustrated with that. Substitution now for the Cardinal. DiBiase out. Siobhan Cox in.
Cox played at 13 matches last season for the Cardinal. More minutes this year.
Cox, a junior from Los Altos Hills, not too far away from here. Coda tries the through ball, but Stanford is there. Amac once again. Ahead to Walker Hartshorn. Tries the cross, wide open Zhao. Zhao making a move towards the 18. Spinner ends up towards the goal line, shielded off and out of bounds, corner kick.
That's his great hustle up the right side. It looked as though it was just going to go out and be given to the Sooners, and instead it was Carusa able to catch up to it.
And Andy Sullivan, after Friday night's game, talked about a lot of little things that did not go Stanford's way, a lot of little things that they did not seize. That was one of those little things that Stanford was able to seize in that situation.
Just that extra effort getting to that, and Sullivan will take this corner.
The 8th one for Stanford this half. In traffic. Zhao tries to put it back in play and eventually bounded out. Cook with it. Karen Nelson pressuring, but Cook able to unload it. And the ball skips out of bounds. Last touch by Oklahoma. Pac-12 Soccer Halftime Report. Straight ahead, Kate Rooney will take you around all the highlights from around the conference. And a Pac-12 Sports Report update. A lot of things happening on the pitch in women's soccer. A lot of things happening around the Pac-12 period. This is that time of year. September's here. Not everyone is in session, but everyone is on the field, on the pitch, in the pool, whatever it might be. Love this time of year around the Pac-12.
It's definitely a busy time as Katie Donahue's come in now for the Cardinal, one of the 5 seniors for Stanford.
Cross attempt is blocked there. Stanford will throw it in.
Still some time here in the first half. The Cardinal would like to get a little cushion for their lead if they can.
They've had plenty of opportunities.
Yeah.
A penalty kick along the way that bounded off the left post from Haley Rosen. That's okay. She's already got a goal so far in this one. Left-footed play into Walker Hartshorn, but she shielded off. Laura Rayfield doing the defensive honors there.
Yeah, that's excellent defense by Laura Rayfield, just not giving Walker Hartshorn any kind of an angle or look, an opening whatsoever. She's so quick and so good in turning her defender. That's one of her biggest strengths, but just couldn't get to that one.
She had 2 hat tricks last year, one against Dayton and the other against Washington.
Just the 4th Cardinal to get 2 in a year.
Cook stops on a dime and turns and sets things up for the Cardinal.
Nice cut back by Cook. They'll use her some on the attack.
No offsides called there, as it was pretty close there for both Donahue and Walker Hartshorn. Linesman did not raise the flag.
Walker Hartshorn trying to get back in position and just couldn't get there in time. And couldn't help herself. The ball was right there at her feet.
We did the Cal UC Riverside game on Friday afternoon. Cal winning that one, but not if you look at the offsides column. Bears were offsides 11 times in that match on Friday.
And 1 for UC Riverside. It just seemed as though that was part of the offense and part of the attack at times.
Play toward the Sooner back line. Stanford with it. Turner. Cardinal playing it back. Cox. Now the Sooners send it back. Campbell will take it on a couple of bounds and set things up again. Now here comes some pressure from OU, and Campbell sends it away. Good control. Give and go. Amack with some fancy footwork down the sideline.
Yeah, you have to be accurate. You see this high pressure applied by the Sooners. You have to be accurate with those passes, and it's very impressive what we're seeing right now from the Cardinal. Not a lot of mistakes with the ball at their feet.
Cook with it now for the Card. Rayfield loses a headband, and Stanford gains possession. Outside, Donahue in the corner. Left-footed cross goes out of bounds.
Official making sure Rayfield gets that headband back. Gotta have the headband, Troy. Gotta have the headband.
Yes, I know the feeling. My hair goes all over the place,
it really
too.
Does. We could have used a headband today. It's a warm one.
The breeze did kick up somewhat about 20 minutes before this match started, but whatever breeze there was is now completely gone. Nice through ball. Here comes Donahue. Broken up by Rayfield. But another chance here for Donahue. Plays it back towards the penalty spot. Ball loose. Cleared out by OU.
But good recovery, D, by the Sooners to get back, and it starts with Laura Rayfield. She's really exceptional.
She's been busy.
Yeah. Excellent leader for Oklahoma.
Rayfield for the Sooners, Amack for the Cardinal in particular, have been very impressive on their team's back lines. Meanwhile, a collision. Walker Hartshorn in the middle of it. A couple of Sooners as well. And a free kick coming for Stanford.
Just a 3-player collision right in the middle. And luckily no one injured on a play like that. Triple header.
Sullivan with the chipper. Right into Stady's arms.
Little miscue, I think, on that play as Sullivan kind of had her hands up to the air saying, what just happened on that? That's not exactly what I thought we had called out. Instead, right to Stady.
Controlled by Nelson. Shiloh Price for OU. Double teamed immediately. Cook is there with help. Gonna work out of the corner. And a hard tackle there.
Double teamed in the corner was Shiloh Price. Good defense by the Cardinal. It was help coming back by Katie Donahue. And I believe McGrady as well getting it done.
Stanford defensively has just been a wall thus far. Only one shot for the Sooners. As the final seconds tick off the clock in the first half. And we move to halftime with the Stanford Cardinal leading 1-0. Haley Rosen with the goal, getting taped up on the Stanford sideline. But she scored in the 6th minute. We are joined now by Cardinal coach Paul Ratcliffe. Coach, your overall thoughts on what you saw from the squad in the first half?
I thought we put some good pressure on them, played some good soccer, but we need to execute in the final third and get another goal or two here. Because I think we're creating enough chances. We just need to execute at the right times.
Yeah, you definitely have created a lot of chances, Paul. And I'm impressed today in this match how you've moved the ball around compared to maybe the match against Penn State. Are you happy with the movement?
Yeah, I think we're keeping possession of the ball. We're being more aggressive and more assertive. But still, like I said earlier, I would like to see us get more results from it. You know, it's only 1-0. Oklahoma is a good team, and they're still in the game, and we have to finish the job by getting at least another goal.
A lot of opportunities so far. We'll see how things shake out in the second half. Coach, we appreciate the time as always.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Stanford ahead 1-0 over Oklahoma, but that is only the half of it. Pac-12 halftime report straight ahead. Kate Rooney will get you caught up on everything you need to know. 1-0. Stanford over Oklahoma at the half.
Welcome inside our San Francisco studios. I'm Kate Rooney with your halftime report. Number 2 Stanford leading Oklahoma 1-0 at the half. But we begin this halftime with some off-the-field news. Utes football head coach Kyle Whittingham has confirmed that 2 Utah players were shot last night in Salt Lake City. Tight end Lo Falimaka and running back Marcel Brooks-Brown both expected to recover after sustaining shots to the torso at a party. Whittingham issued the following statement. Obviously, our first concern is that both Lo and Marcel are going to be okay, which appears to be the case. We don't have all the details yet, but it is our understanding that they are the victims in this incident, and we feel very fortunate that they are expected to recover. It is unknown at this time how soon they will be able to return to the football field, but we are optimistic it will be in the near future. Well, we certainly hope so. For now, let's take a peek at a top 25 soccer showdown. Kevin Boyd's 22nd-ranked Sun Devils taking on 18 Texas Tech. Scoreless in the first. Katie Heap on the interception sends one flying into the net. Red Raiders up 1-0. That's the first goal ASU has allowed all season, but they'd get a good shot in the 62nd minute with a penalty kick as Mackenzie Berryhill tries to chip it in. Lauren Watson there for the diving save. She had 5 in the game. 4 minutes later, though, another chance for the Sun Devils. Callie Farquharson, that one is just high. Sun Devils suffer their first loss of the season. More soccer action for you. UCLA looking for a huge road upset over 4th-ranked North Carolina. We'll pick this one up in the 54th minute. Tar Heels have a 1-0 lead. UCLA can't quite clear the ball. Jessie Scarpa taking possession and attacking. She would get the score off the rebound. 2-0 lead for the Tar Heels. Bruins, though, they would get on the board, so it's 2-1 as we go to the 85th minute. Unfortunately here, deja vu for the Bruins. Another bad clear, another steal, and another goal for Scarpa. Tar Heels win at 3-1. They stay perfect on the year. Meanwhile, 23 Long Beach State visiting USC. USC leads that series 3-1 heading into today's game. 7th minute, USC attacking. Nicole Molan gets to free ball in the box, but she fires it over the top, so we remain scoreless. 33rd minute, Long Beach State has a corner kick. Jessica Vincent sends it in. but a foul is called before that ball is deflected in. So let's take another look. Before the ball gets there, Victoria Bolden making contact with USC's keeper. We're still scoreless here in this one, late in the second half. Well, it's a gray but beautiful day at Kagan Stadium. Up next, we'll take you to the gridiron. Welcome back inside our Pac-12 studios. I'm Kate Rooney with your Bay Area Sports Report update. Well, nothing like a good old-fashioned redemption match. Stanford football looking to get back on its feet after a disappointing opener to the season. This time, they would play at home, taking on University of Central Florida. We'll pick this one up in the second quarter, scoreless. Off the flea flicker, Kevin Hogan passing deep to an open Michael Rector for the 53-yard touchdown. Cardinal go up 7-0. Rector would finish with 86 yards and the touchdown. We'll go on to the third quarter. Stanford up 10-0 now. Hogan, this time it's to Bryce Love. Making a nice little move there. He'd take it 42 yards to get inside the 40. And that huge first down would lead to a Christian McCaffrey touchdown reception. We'll move on to the fourth quarter. Same score. Hogan passing again to Love. This time, he'll take it down the field again. 93 yards down the sideline. Stanford would win it 31-7. Love finishing with 135 yards in the score. Hogan, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns. Looking forward to seeing the Cardinal at USC next week in our first conference matchup. And also looking forward to tomorrow's edition of Sports Report. Mike Yam and Ashley Adamson in studio at 9 p.m. Pacific. Right now, we've got the second half of your game.
This Pac-12 soccer production is brought to you in high definition by Xfinity, only from Comcast.
The drought is affecting all of us. At PG&E, we've definitely put a focus on helping our agricultural customers through the drought.
Good crowd on hand here at Laird Q. Kagan Stadium on the campus of Stanford University, and they've watched the Cardinal take a 1-0 lead over the Sooners as we head towards the start of the second half. Highlights from the first 45 minutes of action. Stanford getting on the board thanks to Haley Rosen.
They didn't waste any time. Haley Rosen making sure centers this up. Couple of defenders coming at her, so she brings it back one little step, takes it with her left. Looks as though it's going to bend right. Stady gets fooled, and instead it stays left. Under 5 minutes and already a score for the Cardinal, but a lot of chances, Troy, and they just weren't able to capitalize.
Stady has taken a barrage in goal from Oklahoma. Lots of shots. Zhao there with the cross. The header, not good. It has just been an absolute siege by Stanford in the attacking third.
Dominating shots, 12-1, 8 corners, and none so far for the Sooners. And Rosen again with the left. You have to give Stady a lot of credit because the Stanford Cardinal have tested her. They haven't sent many right at her numbers. They are definitely testing her left and right, and she has handled it very well.
Rosen in particular with 4 shots, 3 of them on goal. You saw the penalty kick just a few moments ago that just glanced off of the left post. It all adds up to a 1-0 lead for Stanford. 12 shots for Stanford, 1 for the Sooners.
Yeah, you got to hope the frame helps them out a little better on the other side of the pitch this season, or this game rather, because right now they've had their opportunities, haven't been able to finish.
Let's talk to Oklahoma head coach Matt Potter. Coach, we appreciate the time. Welcome back to Pac-12 country. Your thoughts on what you saw in the first half and what you're watching for in the second?
Well, we obviously got to be a little bit better defensively and then collectively in our play to possess the ball. Stanford is Stanford. We know what to expect, and we've just lacked a little bit of bite here and there or a little bit of composure here and there. But other than that, the game's going probably how people expected.
And Coach, talk about your back line a little bit and also the play of Stady. She's been very impressive.
Well, she's done exactly what we know she's capable to do. We're not getting enough pressure to the ball in that, on our defending third, and we're not recognizing moments to step out of the back, and that's kind of hurting us a little bit, but hopefully we've addressed it and we can look forward to a better, more productive second half.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you. Take care.
Head coach Matt Potter of the Oklahoma Sooners has taken Washington State to the NCAA tournament 3 times during his 9-year tenure on the Palouse, has plenty of Pac-12 connections. Plenty of respect for Stanford coach Paul Ratcliffe, but right now he's trying to figure out a right combination to get his squad into the win column today.
a young team, 12 freshmen on his squad, but they have stepped in and he's been very impressed. You know, but they had a couple of double overtime losses to start the season, and until their loss the other night at Santa Clara, they had not lost in a 90-minute match. And so we'll see if they can regroup. I think you have to be happy when you look at the lopsided numbers if you're Matt Potter and say, okay, even though we were a little off and even though we didn't make a push, it's just 1-0. There's plenty of time left in this match.
Meanwhile, for Stanford, I'll imagine that the key word for them the final 45 minutes, finish.
Yes, absolutely. You have to be able to finish. You have to be happy that you've set up those situations, but not being able to capitalize. And again, I give a lot of credit to Cassidy Stady because she was tested and she used all sides, all corners of that box.
Second half underway. Slightly warmer here on the farm. Kickoff temperature was 72 degrees. Currently 79 degrees now here at Stanford. But slightly breezy as we make our way towards another fantastic September Sunday afternoon. Alana Cook with it on the far side, the freshman. Zhao working. Back to Rosen, who has been extremely active and aggressive in this game thus far. Stanford, at the start of the year, found itself down 1-0 just 31 seconds into that opener against Hawaii. Just 31 seconds in. And I asked Coach Ratcliffe about it the other day, and I said, what was going through your mind? Just 31 seconds in and you're already down 1-0. And Ratcliffe said, you know what? I was actually kind of happy that it happened then. Get it out of the way, maybe work out some of the kinks. And he was also happy for Alana Cook, the freshman defender, who allowed that goal on the misplay, but she was able to come back and score the winner later on in that contest.
It's a big position to fill for Cook back in the center back position.
And Stanford defensively has gotten on it.
Yeah, the goals against average, nationally ranked.
The goal they allowed, the first one against Penn State on Friday, stopped a shutout streak of 369 minutes.
They don't give up much, that is for certain.
And it goes back to that first goal from Hawaii, 31 seconds into the season. Had clean sheets the rest of the way until Friday. Halfway towards a clean sheet now. Mariah Lee in the corner, trying to beat two defenders. Left-footed strike kisses off of the defender. Spins beyond the back line.
Mariah Lee was very active in the first half, setting up the majority of the corners for the Stanford Cardinal. They just weren't able to get a score off of them, but I love her activity. She's so powerful, so strong, and a blast of speed.
Stanford has speed. They have quickness. They can get physical when they need to as well. They're also a very savvy team. Tend to play beyond their years. Outside DeRozan. Left-footed cross is headed out by the Sooners. Rayfield in the vicinity once again.
That was a nice look by Haley Rosen, though, to find Kira Carusa coming across. She was very close to getting that header.
Played off the referee, Alex Del Angel. Coda trying to make the long run. Instead cut off by Cook. Stanford plays it back.
Cook had slowed up just a little bit, and then I think Jane Campbell was talking to her saying, hey, you've got a player behind you. It was Anna Crawford sneaking up, and so she kicked it in another notch.
Laura Lytle plating it back to Maddie Bauer.
As far as the attack goes, I think Laura Lytle's been very quiet on this right flank. We have her on our side now. Let's see if she can be a little bit more of the attack in the second.
Ball goes over the heads of both Lee and Knox Webster.
There's Lytle, one of the 5 seniors, and she's one of 30 student athletes across the nation up for the Senior Class Award, and it's all about your commitment both on and off the field, academically, community service. Quiet leader, Paul Ratcliffe calls her.
Lytle played club soccer instead of high school soccer, but she did represent Torrey Pines athletically on their surfing team.
Yeah.
Down in San Diego. Growing up in Midwest City, Oklahoma, I didn't have a surfing team.
You know, I didn't either. I grew up in the Midwest as well.
Rosen trying to get there. She can't. Knocks Webster with it instead. Plays it outside. Nice ball. Karen Nelson cut off by Amack, who's been all over the place for Stanford defensively.
There's Karen Nelson. And there's Laura Lytle.
Hanging 10.
The balance and versatility of these student athletes shown right there.
Played ahead towards Rosen. Instead, she knocks it back. Might have Lee crossing here on the near side. Instead, they keep it on the far side. Working towards Zhao. Zhao beating the defender. Crawford trying to hang in there. Here comes the cross into the box. It's broken up. Crawford can't quite get rid of it. Zhao in the middle of it. Crawford outfights her for it. Stanford not making anything easy for Oklahoma.
No, they aren't. They are definitely matching up, and the accuracy right now by the Sooners is not quite as clean as far as the passing goes compared to the Cardinal. And that's not allowing them to keep it in their attacking third.
Outside, Lytle. Headed out. Sooners don't have numbers. Played outside. Nelson versus Amack. Waits. Now makes a move. Plays it in the middle to Hemakota. Gets the through ball. Trying to find an angle, but swarmed. Outside, Nelson can't catch up with it. Stanford has been everywhere on the defensive third.
Patience by the Sooners on that one, though. A little bit better possession than what we've seen.
If you're following along on Twitter, don't forget, be a part of the conversation and use hashtag Pac12WSOC. Krista and I are both there. Ball outside to Lee. Aiming towards the back line. The cross back post, no one home. Rosen will try for a second opportunity. And perhaps a fifth shot for her this afternoon. Can't get it off.
Gets tripped up, but will get the corner. Nice look with the cross on the right side, and then Rosen able to set up the corner now on the left.
9th corner kick in this game for the Cardinal. Hooking, headed upwards, and out. Now the strike from Lytle. Stady's there.
Amack was the target in the box off the corner. And just couldn't get the header. The defense by the Sooners right there.
Stady plays it ahead. Amack there. Taken away. And Lytle simply clears it. Sends it towards the Cardinal bench.
Cardinal had the numbers. Sorry about that, Troy, but it was really Shiloh Price that stayed up for the Sooners and caused enough pressure to where Lytle just had to send that one out.
Yep.
Tough break.
Lytle Pac-12 honorable mention last season. 2-time Pac-12 all-academic honorable mention. On the throw-in for Oklahoma. Coda Shields. And here comes Stanford again. Lee won't catch up with this one. Good idea. And it was there. But not quite the pass that Stanford may have needed in that situation.
Yeah, a chance there as the pass was off the mark by the Sooners, but then right back to them.
Nice job by Lytle shielding Nelson away from the ball and impeding her path to it. Carusa stops on the dime, tries to get it back.
Nice challenge by Paige Welch for the Sooners on that aggressive sliding tackle to take it away, and now the Cardinal get it right back. See Sullivan stepping back, and you also have strength back there with Maddie Bauer. The back line very strong by the Cardinal.
Lee back out to Sullivan. To Lee in the corner. Offside's called. Lee just kind of hung around back there.
Yeah, just never got back, and I'm sure she knew it. Nothing she could do, though.
It's one of those things where you probably realize it right at the exact moment where it's just too late.
They're absolutely right.
And you see the linesman throw up the flag, and you hear the whistle, and you go, "Oh, I can't believe I did that." Haley Rosen with the goal in the 5th minute of this game. Sooners clear it. Nelson heads it outwards towards Amack. Tries a through ball. Carusa. Broken up instead. Cleared by Oklahoma. Zhao finding DiBiase. Stanford working it around. Give and go. Outside Lee. Looking for an angle. Poked away. Knocks Webster. Hangs in there defensively. And then finishes off the play.
Cardinals stringing together multiple possessions.
Here comes Emily Parker.
Did not see her in the first half. But this freshman's been a nice spark coming in off the bench. 3 goals in the season. We mentioned her in our open. The daughter of Glenn, part of our broadcast team.
Yes, indeed. Part of the Pac-12 network family. You see him on the football side. Glenn also appearing in 5 Super Bowls, 4 with the Buffalo Bills, 1 with the New York Giants. And an all-around good guy, too.
He really is. He absolutely is. Her mother, Casey, was a synchronized swimmer at Arizona. Glenn playing football there. Very talented, athletic family.
DiBiase can't get off a shot. Broken up by Cota. Cardinal get another shot, though. Rosen trying to break down the defense. Looking for a Crean. Strikes just off the top of the net. And right around the top of the 18, based on the data she's had so far, I let Haley Rosen do whatever she wants right now.
When you get the chance, take it. This one so close, just grazing the top of the net. She's had a couple go off of the crossbar and the left and right posts. 5 shots for her, and did get a goal out of one of them.
Ball bounding out of bounds and towards the Stanford bench area. Parker with a touch. Played back. "14 shots for the Cardinal, 1 for the Sooners." This after they only got 7 shots against Santa Clara on Friday night, and that was their season low to this point.
Yeah. They had a much better second half holding Santa Clara, though. Those 2 scores happening in the first half, but couldn't get any of their own.
And that coming off of a performance, the 3rd match in their 3-match winning streak, where they just blitzed UTSA 8-1. It was 7-0 just 17 minutes in.
Making a statement on that. So Matt Potter going to his bench. We talked about the depth. He's used 22 different players, and he brings in one of his seniors, Devin Barrett. We didn't see her in the first half. She led the team in scoring last year, 5 goals on the year. Has an assist on the season.
And is now played officially in every game, in every match so far this year for the Sooners. Another long kick headed downwards, though. Played towards the outside in Price's direction. Eventually ends up with it. Lee back to defend. Cross towards the top of the 18. No red shirts there. Ahead to Carusa. Nice job shielding there, but DiBiase is fought off. Price with the chipper. In towards the middle. Perhaps a shot now for OU, but Barrett is offside.
Tough break for the Sooners. They set that one up perfectly because they had the back line out of Swartz. Cook, this little choppy shot, she couldn't quite catch up to it. And where she looks up and says, please, put that flag in the air. And they catch Devin Barrett offsides.
And that's the first real chance it seems that OU has had in this game. They do have one shot, but it's probably the first real scoring opportunity they've had so far.
Yep.
Looking for a second one here. Trying to control Parker. Played back to Campbell. Campbell has to clear, but it goes straight up almost.
Almost a whiff by Campbell. A tough one to handle. Had two different Sooners coming right at her.
And a bounding ball to deal with as well. Not as easy as it might look.
That last play by the Sooners and the offside call. That's really the first breakdown we've seen in which they were able to throw the back line off.
Working across the top of the 18, looked a bit indecisive there, a bit hesitant. But Sooners will try, and miscommunication between Barrett and Knox Webster. In the 61st minute of this contest, substitutions now for the Cardinal. McGrady, Turner, and Walker Hartshorn coming on. Troy Clarity, Krista Blunk, welcome to the farm on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Haley Rosen with the goal in the 5th minute of this contest. The reason why we're looking at a 1-0 tally on the scoreboard. Stanford fighting defensively, and Lytle gets the call.
Lytle using her body did a nice job, and it was Dow that got her arm wrapped around Lytle's.
Dow, a freshman for Oklahoma. Walker Hartshorn trying to work things as it poked away. Walker Hartshorn trying to track that one down, instead kicked out of bounds. 5'11", the junior from Oakland. Carusa. They're on a switch in the corner, trying to control DiBiase, taken away.
That was Tori Bowman. Nice dispossessed there by her. Took advantage of her size.
Carusa keeps it on the ground. Walker Hartshorn with the spin, plays it towards the top. And it's a skipper that no one can control until Sullivan puts it on goal. And Stady right there with the catch.
Maybe rushed that one just a little bit. Sullivan turns and gets enough of a look to where she can take it. Had enough on it, kept it low, but Stady was right there. Just didn't test her quite enough.
Couple collisions along the far side. Oklahoma throw incoming. Tripped up, dispossessed. Pressure from Price. Played on the ground, Turner trying to find it. Oklahoma ends up with it. Played down the far sideline, headed out. And near cross blocked by Sullivan. And then played down by Sullivan. Carusa was directing traffic there, didn't quite get the pass where she wanted it. Taken away by OU. Aiming towards the far side, can't control. Sooners with the throw-in and a substitution.
Anna Crawford's going to come back in. She's been very active, got a little breather, and now she'll step back in.
Jordan Knox-Webster coming off for Oklahoma. Here's Maddie Bauer with space and time. Played in Turner's direction. Cook the header. Play back to Campbell.
This is what Stanford wants to do. They'll work it through the back line. And there's see Maddie Bauer. She's one of the center backs, and she will oftentimes initiate the contact. She's looking at Lytle, going to send Lytle off on the attack. They want to use the back line to create.
Caruso and Crawford in the battle. Caruso wins. Back to Bauer. You mentioned Bauer's toughness. During a high school game, she chipped several teeth. Didn't leave the game. Stayed in. The junior from Newport Beach, California. Made the all-freshman team for the Pac-12 in 2013. Two-time all-Pac-12 second team is Bauer. She heads it forward.
She's just solid. You have her in front of the keeper, Jane Campbell, and then Andy Sullivan in the midfield along with her. They're back and forth right here, and that's a confidence for your keeper to have players like them in front of you and helping you direct how you want this team to go.
Collision between Cook and Parker. And a handball, I believe, has been called on OU. Yes, it has.
Nice aggressive move, though, by Kaylee Dow, trying to make something happen, trying to get the energy up for the Sooners. And she's hanging back. She's right up on Maddie Bauer.
Meanwhile, Stanford looking for some breathing room on the scoreboard here. Setting it up. Trying to find Caruso. Can't get there. Crawford instead knocks it out.
It was good D by Anna Crawford. She would not allow Caruso to get in front of her or behind her. He really bodied up with her.
Jordan DiBiase, the freshman, comes out. Shaban Cox, the junior, coming in. Sullivan there defensively. Price trying to fight through it. Lytle versus Barrett.
Couple of collisions with Walker Hartshorn and no whistle called, letting him play.
Played backwards, Barrett giving chase. Bauer cleaning it up.
Risky pass by Cook over to Bauer because there were two players right there within the vicinity, and that was risky. Got to be a little sharper on your passing.
Substitutions continue coming for the Sooners. Liz Keister coming back on. Replacing Devin Barrett. Matt Potter looking on. Trying to take the Sooners to the next level in the Big 12. Hard tackle, won by Stanford. And a little interference perhaps by Laura Rayfield.
Tegan McGrady, an aggressive play there, 1v1, and 50-50 ball says, I'm going for it. And it's because of that extra effort that she makes that Stanford will get this.
Sullivan plays it. Amack chasing. Left-footed cross off the head in traffic and knocked out. Sooners on the counter. Instead, Cardinal end up with it. Caruso outside, Sullivan with the cross. Whiffed, but able to clean it up is Dow.
Sometimes that's where you can get an opportunity on a miss or a deflection where everybody's a little out of position, and Stanford just didn't have anybody there.
Only had one goal so far in this one, coming off the left foot of Haley Rosen. And it was a beauty.
So long ago, and the lefty, instead of bending it right, keeps it left. Just throwing off Cassidy Stady, the keeper, just enough to get it. But it seems like it was so long ago.
That was back in the 5th minute. Here we are in the 70th, and it's still 1-0. Stanford was entering this week coming off of an impressive win over BYU, ranked 9th in the country. At the time of that matchup on Labor Day, that game was originally supposed to be played back in Hawaii in late August. But bad weather wiping things out there and preventing the field from being able to host a ball game, so they decided to reschedule that. And it's interesting because that actually may have worked out a bit in Stanford's favor, because at the time that the match was originally scheduled, BYU was ranked 19th in the country. They finally play on Labor Day. Cougars ranked 9th in the country. So all of a sudden, Stanford has a win over a top 10 team, thanks in part to Mother Nature.
Definitely helps you with your RPI and potentially down the road. Laura Lytle in a collision with Shiloh Price. No whistle, but Stanford will get it. Let them play.
Kaylee Dow off, Lizzie Llewellyn on for Oklahoma, rather. Bauer trying to clear with help from Lytle. Crossover from Price. Knee ball, finally controlled by Oklahoma. That's McGrady. And McGrady wanted the give and go, but Lee wasn't quite ready for it. Giving chase. And Walker Hartshorn can't get there. Ball played towards the 18 and an offside call. Keister.
Trying to create, trying to make something happen. It's a couple offsides now going against the Sooners. We're trying to be a little more aggressive, and that was something that Coach Matt Potter said that they needed to do in the second half.
Keister, a junior transfer from Texas A&M, was on the SEC all-freshman team in the 2013 season, and she's been through a lot. MCL tears, stress fractures in her foot, had reconstructive surgery on her ankle along the way. But she has kept playing through it all.
Yeah, she made it onto the SEC all-freshman team, and she was the tournament MVP that year. She had 10 goals on the season as a freshman, but if you're not healthy, it's hard to keep those kinds of numbers up.
Many members of Keister's family went to Oklahoma, so she decided to make the transfer from College Station up to Norman, which is about probably a 6-hour drive. About 3 hours from Dallas to Norman, and then another 3 hours, I believe, down to College Station from Dallas. Texas is a really big state. You forget about that.
It sure is.
Bauer with some pressure. Played back. Sooners pressuring that Stanford back line a bit.
Yeah, they're staying up. They're definitely causing pressure for the back line. Trying to keep them from becoming part of the attack and maybe just get one little mistake to go their way.
Lytle and Lee trying to work together. Instead, Price ends up with it. And now played back to Stady. Some pressure by Stanford there.
That was an aggressive move up by Andy Sullivan to come in.
Played down. Llewellyn trying to make something happen for the Sooners. Outside to Parker. Not much doing. Parker did not start in this game. entered in the 56th minute and has been very, very quiet for the Sooners thus far. Sullivan with a nice through ball. Walker Hartshorn trying to get a hold of it and does. Towards the 18. Outside towards McGrady. And the flag is up.
So both teams giving up opportunities. A little better recognition needed as to where the back line is. And yeah, McGrady out in front. Just got to hold yourself up just a bit. Or Walker Hartshorn's got to hang on to it a little bit longer. Just takes more recognition.
3 offsides apiece for each team. Nice save there by Walker Hartshorn. Outside, Lee catching up. Crawford right there with her. And Crawford takes it away. Price can't find Parker. McGrady. Turner, Amack tried the strike, but instead it's blocked by OU. Now a hard tackle, and it'll go in Oklahoma's direction.
Just prior to that right there, Andy Sullivan had it, and she looked ahead to McGrady, and McGrady just called for the offsides. Sullivan held on to it just one more second before she sent the pass up. And there's the collision with Amack and Shiloh Price. Amack's been very busy.
Yes.
Amack 1 goal on the season, but she's surprised doesn't have more assists. She's just always involved in the play.
Sullivan can't hit Lytle down the sideline. More substitutions coming for the Cardinal. Michelle Zhao coming back in. And Oklahoma with the substitution as well. Karin Nelson coming back on.
And so Lytle's sitting out. That's going to bring Stephanie Amack over on the right flank now instead of the left. And they'll move McGrady out on the left.
Zhao back in the contest. Bauer trying to link up some passes. Sullivan with a switch out to Zhao. Zhao controls, strikes, just wide and over the top of the net.
What a great look up by Andy Sullivan. She started that in midfield, big leg. She saw Zhao up on the left corner of the box. And this was a tough one to settle. It actually deflected off of that defender of the Sooners. She brings it down and maybe rushed it just a little bit, trying to get it past Stady in the box, and just goes wide.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. A fantastic look by Sullivan to set it up.
She has such awareness of the pitch. Who's behind her? Here's the pass that sets it up. Sullivan dodges one defender who was behind her, and it was just a little high. Zhao able to settle it and just going wide, got under it.
Zhao again rips it, but it's blocked by the OU defense. For a moment there, it appeared that the 3 red shirts in the area just kind of stopped and let the ball just kind of lay there. Instead, they clear it.
Better job by Zhao to keep it low, but that time the defenders in position.
Miscommunication as Amack had made her run down the sideline, but the pass well short. Quick throw in. Played back to Crawford. Almost a near giveaway there. Amack versus Llewellyn. Turns and clears. Crawford versus Lee. Tackle. And it goes in Stanford's direction.
That's a tough matchup between Mariah Lee and Anna Crawford. Crawford's been very active on the back line, just a sophomore.
We mentioned Stanford almost losing a game in a sense to unforeseen circumstances with them not being able to play that game against BYU in Hawaii. As Zhao, working in the 18, has it poked away. And now trying to fight off two Sooner defenders, Price and Rayfield. Sends it goalward off of Stady. It's loose and cleared by the Sooners.
Good recovery by the back line for the Sooners on that one as Stady got knocked down, couldn't hang on to it.
Amac with it now. Stanford losing that game to BYU. That was later replayed. Oklahoma had a game against Oral Roberts earlier this month, and everything was going fine. They were ahead 1-0 until they had a power outage on campus. And it was in the 56th minute of that game, and they eventually had to call it. And it's no contest. NCAA rules state that you have to go 70 minutes in order for a game to be official. So that result got wiped off the board.
A tough break for the Sooners. You go that long and that far in a match and then can't get a result.
And it could have been a 4-match win streak for the Sooners coming into this weekend. Rasha Roberts, our first time seeing her for the Sooners, replacing Shiloh Price.
Part of the Jamaican national team and had 11 starts last year, 3 goals on the season for the Sooners.
From Broken, actually no, Shiloh Price is from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. You mentioned Roberts is from Jamaica. And Roberts with it. Poked out of bounds, Stanford. Kira Carusa coming back on for the Cardinal. Ryan Walker Hartshorn coming off. Roberts in traffic, they get it outside. Sooners trying to get something going here. But many times their possessions in the attacking third have ended like that, with the Cardinal backline taking it away and clearing it. Sooners hang in there, sends a left foot shot. That one's on goal. And an easy catch for Campbell.
From way out, Tori Bowman decides, I've got a clean enough look, I've got a big enough leg, I'm going to try to take it. And Jane Campbell followed it the entire way. But you have to be ready. It's been a little quiet back there for her. Got to make sure she stays awake.
Meanwhile, Cassidy Stady was under siege right from jump almost. Haley Rosen, a huge reason why. She has the ball now. Top of the 18, Carusa outside Lee. A hard tackle there. As Lee goes sprawling to the ground. Free kick.
Great positioning. Good movement without the ball for Lee as she steps over in front of Anna Crawford, and Crawford clips her a little bit on the ankle. Look at the positioning of this one. Just outside the box.
You see the scrum at the top of the 18. Who can fight through the traffic? Rosen sends it off the skipper, tries the second shot, no good.
Pretty service, kept it low, had multiple options as it got whiffed on and settled down then by Amac. Rosen takes it, it continued to bend as Lee lost her footing. Amac brought it down, but then got under it, up and over the crossbar.
Cardinal still looking for that finisher. Lots of shots in the last 2 games, 36 of them, 20 of them today. But only 1 goal to show for it.
Always happy to be creating so much, but it's the number and what Paul Ratcliffe talked about going in at half. You want to get more from it. You put that much effort in.
Bauer is down after the hard tackle from behind by Liz Keister.
And you don't want to see that. Maddie Bauer definitely in some pain. See if we can see what happens as it gets through and landed awkwardly. An aggressive sliding tackle. Taking a look at the right leg.
Bauer just got clipped by Keister from behind as a hush falls over Kagan Stadium.
Well, she's one of the three captains. She's a big piece to what the Stanford Cardinal do. They work it through her almost every time they take it through the back line, and Paul Ratcliffe's going to bring his team over and talk with them.
A look at what Stanford has coming up after this game is done. UC Davis for the Cardinal right here on Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, 1 p.m. at Laird Q. Kagan Stadium. At Santa Clara, that should always be interesting. It always is whenever those two teams get together. Then we start to head into Pac-12 play. Utah up first on the road in Salt Lake, Arizona State, and Arizona.
You and I will be there, but 3 tough road trips for Paul Ratcliffe's team. You know, interesting watching him talking with the team, Troy, because he's always got a very calm demeanor, but he was lighting a little spark under the team on that one. That's probably the most animated I think I've ever seen Paul Ratcliffe over on the sideline.
He wants the finisher.
Yeah.
He wants to see them finish and get things off and get this game off on the right foot. Of course, coming in October, Pac-12 Network is home to Pac-12 women's soccer. It's the Thursday night game of the week. Every Thursday night at 7, fans are going to get the chance to see some of the best women's soccer in the country compete on a national stage that it so rightly deserves. For more information on when your team will be featured, visit pac-12.com. And stay tuned, because there is a lot of great soccer coming up, especially once conference play fires up.
I'm glad to see Maddie Bauer walking on her own, but you can definitely tell something's not quite right with the right leg, but testing it and putting some pressure on it, making sure she can put pressure on it as she comes to the sideline. So it looks like Andy Sullivan is now going to move back. They're going to take her experience and ability and move her back into a center back spot.
Meanwhile, the Sooners will try to take advantage. The header in traffic. Llewellyn almost there. Can't catch up with it. Play back. The header. Llewellyn trying to get there. And instead it's cleared out. Sooners are getting closer.
Still some time in this one, and now you have the Cardinal out of sorts just a bit. The back line's been shuffled up because of the injury to Bauer.
Long throw in from Roberts. And a whistle. And Stanford kicks. Closing in on 5 minutes remaining in regulation. And the Sooners have it again. Trying to hit Karen Nelson outside in the corner. McGrady gets there first and clears it off of Nelson.
So 2 freshmen now on the back line, McGrady and Cook, handling the left side of the pitch as Sullivan's shifted out of the midfield. But the way Stanford works their attack, they can always use a center back pushing it forward, and Sullivan's so capable.
And McGrady with speed and skill. Collision on the far side as a Cardinal and a Sooner are both chipped down. McGrady with the throw-in. And now the Sooners coming the other way. DiBiase back in the game for Stanford. And Zhao trying to find Lee. The ball overshoots them, but Lee has a better shot at getting there. Stanford with the shot now. Lee trying to set it up. Poked away by Roberts. Well done.
She stood her ground and she was able to just dispossess Lee. And Lee has such quickness. She gets past Brim But good help coming over.
She does it again here, taking it away from Amac. Sooners on the attack. Llewellyn ahead. It's Keister. Keister crosses. Nobody there but white and gray striped shirts. Roberts plays outside. Karen Nelson getting ahead on it. Llewellyn off the right foot.
Keister and Llewellyn had a couple of nice combinations here on the left side, but just lost it through the midfield as they just didn't have any help in the middle of the box. Stanford gets a break.
Sooners now with 3 shots on the afternoon. We're sitting at 1 for the longest time. But now time is starting to get tight for Oklahoma. Meanwhile, another hard collision near midfield. And the Sooners slow getting up. That's Karen Nelson.
Nelson, big left knee brace, out with the knee injury after starting 7 matches last season. But has come back and 3 goals on the year, 3 of those in 1 match. The win against UT San Antonio. She had the hat trick. Nice to see players coming back off of those difficult injuries.
Punched out by Campbell in traffic, the header and a score. The Sooners come through on the set piece in the 88th minute, and we're tied at 1-1.
Sooner fans up and cheering. They have traveled well, and the bench, that is a big-time play late in this match. Just a cluster. So many players in there. And Jane Campbell tries to punch it out. She gets tripped up by Nelson. And the back line out of sorts and out of position.
It's Kaylee Dow who comes away with it. And all of a sudden, the mood here is shifted. As a shot on goal, and Stady's right there. Kaylee Dow, the freshman from Tulsa, highly touted freshman. The 2015 Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year coming through in the 88th minute. A look at the overtime rules, if they are necessary. We'll have 2 overtime periods. Sudden victory if anyone scores in the extra periods. Stanford trying to end that right now. Amac along the far side. Stops. Plays it in. One-timer. Just misses. But not by much.
What a move coming in. DiBiase, the freshman. This was an excellent job by Stephanie Amac to not force this or push it. She slowed it down, she settled it, and she waited for DiBiase to make her move and just bending it left of that left corner of the net.
It's a game of inches. We're now inside the final minute of regulation. Sooners trying to hang on and force OT. Stanford trying to finish. And Roberts in the middle of another hard collision. And she might be going in the book. She is.
A couple of yellow cards now going against the Sooners. This is a bit of a dangerous play. She really came charging in, and not intentionally being dangerous, but it just ended up being that way, the way she came in.
Sooners coming through off the set piece. A key for Matt Potter. Let's see what the Cardinal do here. Into the 18, and headed out by Dow. Cleared by Oklahoma. Over their bench area and almost into the stands. Mariah Lee playing it, chipping it in the corner. The cross, but no one's there on the back post. Lee trying to track it down, tripped up in the box. Out of bounds. Stanford quickly with 10 seconds left. Spinning. Trying to find a shot. Can't do it. Sooners clear, and we go to overtime. Kaylee Dow with the header. in traffic. Puts it in the net in the 88th minute. And that is how we go to overtime. Stanford won. Oklahoma won.
And Jane Campbell bringing her team together, Troy. She is frustrated. You got to give the Sooners a lot of credit. They never gave up. And there's Jane Campbell talking to her team. She is fired up. Losing the focus maybe just at the last second, getting out of position, unorganized at the end, and she is not happy.
We will take a quick break and we'll be right back with the overtime. Oklahoma with the equalizer. And we have overtime coming up in just a moment from the farm. Oklahoma and Stanford tied at 1 apiece as we are moments away from the beginning of overtime. Troy Clarity, Krista Blunk here on the farm, taking a look at the goals that we have seen. The first one 5 minutes in from Haley Rosen.
Well, big action early on in the 5th minute. Rosen, a couple of defenders come out. She keeps her spacing. She's got that quick lefty shot and just slipped it right by the keeper for the Sooners, Stady. Not until late in the second half. How about the 88th minute? Just a jumble in the box as Jane Campbell comes out. She gets tripped up, and the header brought down by Kaylee Dow. Right place, right time. And that's the way it finished up to send us into overtime.
A lot of traffic there, and Kaylee Dow able to come away with the equalizer. Statistically, same story for Stanford that we've seen now in 2 consecutive matches. A lot of shots on goal, but not enough at the end of 90 minutes.
Coming off of a loss against Penn State, they only gave up 4 shots, but 2 of those found the back of the net. And now here in this one, 22-4, and a perfect shot finding the back of the net as well to keep the Sooners alive.
Something to watch, and you and I noticed this, I believe, as soon as it happened. Maddie Bauer taken down after a hard tackle. She was down for a couple of minutes or so, walked off the pitch under her own power, and you were very interested right from the start to see what that would do to Stanford's back line at a very critical time of the contest. May have gotten our answer.
I think so. You know, they moved Andy Sullivan back there, very capable. She's played on the back line before. She's a confident player. She's one of the captains. You feel and know that she knows what she's doing, but you also have 2 freshmen back there, and then you shift somebody else back there that doesn't always get into that position. And it is not easy to anchor the team. And then when you have the Sooners pressing, they know the time's winding down. They continue to push and pressure, and it's because of that we are in this position.
First time this year that the Stanford Cardinal have gone to overtime. Meanwhile, this is the 3rd time that the Sooners have not been able to decide things in 90 minutes. Their first 2 matches in a tournament in South Carolina both went to double overtime, and they lost both of those games 2-1. First one to Furman, second one to 11th-ranked South Carolina.
There's Kaylee Dow, one of the 12 freshmen. Talented freshmen on both sides.
Lizzie Llewellyn setting things up for Oklahoma.
She's been very busy.
Everyone getting set for the first overtime period. We are in sudden victory mode. Someone puts it in the back of the net. That's it. Cardinal to kick. And away we go. Laura Lytle playing it ahead towards Carusa. Instead broken up. Paige Welch there for the Sooners. DiBiase in the corner. Caruso working defensively, can't get there.
Couldn't quite keep her footing against Madeline Brim.
Caruso settling it, poked away, and we'll do it again. If you're on Twitter checking out this game, add to the conversation, hashtag Pac12WSOC. An entertaining match that it has been. Haley Rosen bombing Cassidy Stady, the OU keeper, throughout much of the first half. And then the dramatics at the end of the second half.
And right now, Brim and Carusa, the matchup, that just battling it out. Here's Rosen now. in great position.
The chipper towards the back post, the header, and it's in! Good night, everybody! Cardinal win! In the 92nd minute, Stanford with the 2-1 win over Oklahoma.
Multiple chances, kept getting the ball back. Lytle on the throw-ins, and then finally a perfect position free kick for Rosen as she services this one up. It bends, and it's all about the angle on the header. And some celebration for good reason, because not many have made it past the outreach gloves of Cassidy Stady.
And congratulations, Tegan McGrady. Your first collegiate career goal happens to be the game winner, the decider here in overtime. Oklahoma was game, but Stanford had just a little bit more. Cardinal now go up to 5-1 on the year. And let us now chat with the freshman from San Jose, Tegan McGrady. Tegan, take us through that goal.
Wow, well, we did a great job just coming out strong in this first part of the overtime. We really wanted it. We thought that, just get it in the first 2 minutes and, this game is going to be put away. We had so many chances. And as soon as I saw Haley put that ball down, I immediately went to the back post like we had always practiced, and I made eye contact with her. And she served a great ball in, put it on a platter for me, and I couldn't be more happy right now.
Well, Tegan, you had a tough match against Penn State in which you had multiple opportunities and just couldn't get it done. You're starting to see maybe a deja vu moment here, the same thing here in this one. I got to ask you what Jane Campbell talked to you about as before you went into the overtime, because one of your captains was talking with you for quite a while.
Yeah, she literally just brings us all up as a captain. She looked at us and said, you guys, we got this. We have to put our chances away. We are up right now. We just need to keep working as hard as we can, and we're going to get it. And I really look up to her as a captain on our team. She's been great, and I couldn't ask for a better one.
Tegan, how critical, of course, was it to answer given Friday's result and given how tough this game was to actually come away with?
We just wanted to show that just because we lost a game and just because we went down, we are ready to come back, and anyone that gets in our way, we're just going to go straight through them no matter what. Even if we go into overtime, anything, we're going to work as hard as we can, because that loss is not going to determine the rest of our season.
Tegan, you've been a little dinged up with some injuries here to start the season, but how you feeling? It looks like you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I feel great. Our trainers here on campus have gotten me back to where I need to be, and I am very excited to be back out on this field.
Well, Tegan, nice job being in the right place at the right time. The header in the 92nd minute, your first career goal for the Cardinal. Congratulations on that. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
Tegan McGrady coming through in the 92nd minute, and Stanford survives in a thriller. They knock off Oklahoma 2-1. On behalf of Krista Blunk and the rest of our Pac-12 Network crew, I'm Troy Clarity. Thank you so much for joining us from the farm. Once again, the final score in overtime, Stanford 2, Oklahoma 1. Have a fantastic remainder of your Sunday afternoon.